I don't know if you can say this on camera. How many figures in volume are you guys going to annualize this year?
With the latest partnerships that we have, I believe in the next 18 months, 100% 9 figures.
And then you ended up in prison, right? Like, what went through your mind when you went to prison? Why were you there? What happened? If you could speak to your younger self that was in jail, what would you say to that person?
Just continue doing what you do okay.
Manifesting, vision.
Because I honestly have zero regret for everything that happened. And I really deeply thankful for having an opportunity to go to prison.
For me personally, my why is to support my family completely. And they're getting old. So my number one goal is to support them completely. And then
retire them.
Yeah, retire them, exactly. Which is finally happening, mashallah, hopefully. That's the power of understanding your why.
Exactly.
And staying committed to your why all this way through and leveraging that. And for you, that's clearly played out all the way to where you are now. What's your valuation, do you think?
The valuation right now of the company is...
All right, I'm back here with Jonathan Lowe once again. We were together back at Dubai Token 2049 earlier this year. And it's crazy because I've been following him on Instagram as well as Twitter and so on. And every single day, I swear, guys, every single day, I've seen so many updates of this guy meeting presidents to delegates to big institutions. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck, man, is going on? The rate at which BipTap is growing seems to be exponential. So how about we just start with that? Just quick overview of BipTap for the people, what you're building. And then also what the hell has been happening over the past few months? Because I've just been seeing your stories and it's fucking insane.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me again. The last time we were here, we were already having quite very interesting new features, new updates. It was more of a tech update. But this I don't know when was the last time I was here, like 6 to 8 months from now. It has been huge growth. But anyway, just a little bit about what I do and what BipTap is. Basically, BipTap stands for Borderless Instant Payment, TAP. We used to create crypto debit card white labels for people, for companies. And then we realized that it's just crypto cards will be saturated and it's just a band-aid of the problem. And then we realized that majority of the people actually use crypto cards because of banking problems, right? Everyone has banking problems. That's why they moved to Dubai, because of multiple reasons. And since then, we have actually evolved into a banking as a service infrastructure. We've built the world's first OmniBank, crypto bank, traditional bank, digital bank, crypto exchange, and crypto cards. Everything in one. So we are the world's first. And so far, the last few months, we have been labeled like the Airbnb for banking. Why? Because we are the first in the world that actually built a very modular architecture that actually allows integration from fully regulated banks from different parts of the world. Yeah. So that way, we save a lot of time, save a lot of resources, scaling regionally. So in short, that's what we have built. And we have a total of about 250,000 members, users right now, and about 15 to 16 white labels live.
Shit. Can you, I don't know if you can say this on camera, or maybe you can just give like how many figures, right? How many figures in volume are you guys going to annualize this year and just like payments and money moving through BipTap?
Annualize?
Right now, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely... Okay.
Definitely 8 figures?
Yeah, it's definitely 8 figures.
Definitely 9 figures?
9 figures, not yet.
Not yet, soon. Okay.
With the latest partnerships that we have, I believe in the next 6 months to 12 months or 18 months, 100% 8 figures.
That's a clip right there, man.
9 figures.
Oh. Shit, so when did you guys hit 7 figures? How long ago was that? Because I'm just trying to get a sense.
7 figures a month or 7 figures a year?
7 figures a year.
When?
Yeah, like when did this like come? Okay, 7 figures a month then. Yeah.
7 figures a month, I think like 1.5 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, it's volume, not revenue, right?
I know, but your revenue is going to scale like crazy.
Of course. Now, because we have about 70 to 80 developers right now, full-time, from Romania. So they are very expensive. So we are aiming to at least complete most majority of our development, infrastructure development, in 2 to 3 months. And in 2 to 3 months, we'll be cutting the costs probably about 70 or 80%. And
Wow.
then that will be a huge jump in our revenue and our
Margins.
margins.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're really looking forward to. And by then, the next 3 to 6 months, we will have some of our big clients already live. So I think we'll mention later who they are.
What's your valuation, do you think? If you can't give a clear figure, but maybe like a rough
I mean, the
figure.
last raise that we did was at 20 million or 40 million. I can't remember.
Okay.
Uh,
How long ago was that?
that was 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
And that was without everything.
And now you're probably
I
10
don't know.
times that.
No, because
I don't know what your multiple is, but I think it's a lot higher than that.
yeah, so the valuation right now of the company is very speculative, right?
Of course.
Because nobody ever knows what it is. But with the partnerships that we already signed, the LOIs that we already have, the volumes that we already committed, those partnerships have committed billions a month. And also the upcoming roadmap that we have, opening a private and investment bank in Luxembourg in 12 to 18 months' time. I don't know if I shared with you. It's just going to scale the companies tremendously. Why? Because once you have the bank in Luxembourg, you can do a lot of institutional investments, institutional, a lot of financial instruments that we can then now open to the European market
Wow.
because we have a fully regulated physical investment and private bank in Luxembourg.
Yeah.
So that's in the next 12 to 18 months.
You're just going to have so many more institutions come on board
Yeah.
and high net worth people that want to have safe funds. And I think this is the biggest selling point about you is that, and your company, BipTap, is that people can have their funds safely managed without having the fear that it's going to get locked, closed, mishandled, and so on, right?
Exactly. So this is something so weird because the most basic fundamentals of safety and privacy,
Yeah.
we as humans don't have it anymore in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
You can't even spend your own funds
Okay. Yeah.
feeling safe about keeping your own funds in your own country regulated banks because you're afraid that if it's too much money, it becomes a crime. If you want to take off your own money, it becomes a crime too. Like, since when this becomes a problem, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where we are coming in to solve.
Yeah. Okay. So Jonathan, you've been cooking very hard over the past 2-3 years, especially with BipTap. 9-figure company, in my opinion, very soon. It probably is now, but when these things come to fruition from LOIs and agreements to real volume through the platform as well, I truly see you guys as a leader in the OmniBank or digital banking space and solution space, and I'm so excited to see how freaking big yourself BipTap is going to get over the next few years. But everyone has an origin story, right? So I think I want to rewind time because you weren't always an business entrepreneur in the banking finance space, but you were an entrepreneur in other ways. So I wanted to go back to your rise and your stories back in building an empire in your 20s. Because you're building an empire now, but you were also once building a different type of empire back then and faced other different challenges. So let's go back to your upbringing, your early stages of entrepreneurship. Actually, in Singapore, at the age of 24, you were building the biggest modeling agency back then. A whole different new story, whole different new life for Jonathan, right? What was driving you at that age? Was it ambition? Was it validation? Was it insecurity? What made you go into this business first?
Well, I think basically because I was always in nightlife in the past. Like, yeah, I used to party a lot, and because I used to know a lot of people in the streets, so I had a lot of connections in a not so good way. But because of those connections, I managed to do a lot of stuff. Like, I also run clubs in Singapore. I own 2 clubs in Singapore back in the days in 2000, I think 11 to 2014, 15. And yeah, so I was the pioneer in bringing models from Thailand and Vietnam, like FHM Maxim models and like Miss Thailand Universe kind of models, bring them into Singapore to actually do like physical catwalks in clubs, like opening of clubs for 14 days, 21 days. And I was the pioneer back then. And yeah, almost every single club in Singapore actually worked with me before, back in the days. So it was really good. And what drove me, I mean, basically I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I always like to be number one. And I wanted to be, I mean, I was naive and young, right? And I was in the gangs, and I always wanted to be known for power, for reputation, for everything. And so, the best way to actually have reputation and what do you call that? Power is girls, money, and power. You know, whether it's black or white. So that's something that I was really obsessed with, to try to climb the ladder of power and control, reputation. And it stems back to, maybe like you said, like childhood validation, insecurity. Yeah, but I mean, right now I've really gone through a lot of healing, and I realized that was my problem. My childhood trauma caused me to work extra hard, but it's also one of the main reasons why I am what I am today, because I have that insecurity, and I have ADHD. So this is a very elite combo where I work so much harder than other people to try to prove my worth, to prove to the world that I actually can do what.
I think that's the most dangerous combination that you can have as
Yep.
an entrepreneur, because you're going to face so many difficult challenges and naysayers and naysayers and whatever, but you're going to keep going no matter what, because you're a elite ADHD and elite pursuit to prove others wrong and prove yourself right.
Exactly.
And then you're just never going to stop. Burnout doesn't exist. You just keep going, right? Nightlife, social status, cars, celebrities, you had it all back then. And later on, you go to prison for whatever entailed and happened. Now, at what point did you realize that back then everything might be unsustainable, or did you not care back then?
I think I decided intentionally to get married very young,
Okay.
because I realized that it's a vicious cycle. If I don't get married, I don't settle down. I end up chasing happiness, and because I'm in nightlife, so it's a blessing and a curse, because I get to witness my friends from age 20, back then I was like 20, all the way to 60, and I see them still chasing happiness. I see them with money. They go and splurge on girls. With girlfriend, they get married, have a kid, and then divorce. They come back to the clubs within a 5 year span, and they start spending, finding new girlfriends. Like, I see it as
A vicious cycle.
a
That you
vicious
never
cycle of
exit, yeah.
down spiral. And I didn't want to be like that. So I got married very young, to try to slowly move out of that.
Yeah.
To try to think of it as just a business, not a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, I already started seeing that, okay, this may not be sustainable, because I was doing other stuff as well. That's why I tried to open stuff like F and B, like I had hawker centers and food,
Nice.
to try to branch out instead of just clubs and alcohol and model agency. The money I churn, I try to move it into a more sustainable business. But the problem is, because it's huge money in nightlife,
Mhm.
and all this, and F&B is like dollars, $10,
Yeah.
maximum $100. This is like thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So unfortunately, my lifestyle took over my maturity, and then everything just slowly phased out and down spiraled because of the lifestyle. Alcohol, girls, drugs, and everything.
Yeah, and that downfall, I would say, of your early success in your 20s, however people define success, but let's say it's money, right? All that money that you made in your 20s, the reputation that you had in that industry, in the nightlife industry, and so on, you then started to have that downfall. You spiraled. You fell into the lifestyle or just the vices that it had, and then you ended up in prison, right? So take us into that first moment of being arrested. Like, what went through your mind when you went to prison? Why were you there? What happened?
So it all connects together, because I tried to become a better person by getting married, because I thought I needed an anchor, because I was unhinged. I was really wild. And I intentionally got married because I wanted to settle down to become a good husband. But after my lifestyle took over, I got a divorce with my ex-wife, and the divorce really fucked everything up because, you know how we as humans sometimes when we are young we earn too much money, we become very arrogant. We think that we're smarter than everyone. But that was my anchor, and I changed a lot because of her. And when we had a divorce, I just thought like, so why do I need to be a good human? Even being with a good human, being a good human, we still ended the relationship. So just fuck it, everything. And I went all into who I was before again. And that was where it started everything. I went to Thailand, I partied too much, and then I got caught for some shit, and then I went to prison. And I got caught a couple of times. And the last final straw is where I finally woke up and I realized, oh shit, I think I'm fucked, you know? And by then it was too late,
Yeah.
you know?
Did you ever feel like in those days in particular that you were hopeless? That life really could be like this forever? It could end, you have no way out
You mean in prison or before?
in prison and before? Yeah.
I mean before before prison I was partying every day and I was
Yeah.
enjoying. I thought I was enjoying.
You're kind of covering what was actually
Yeah, I was
reality or
chasing all
what
the
was
happiness I
inevitable.
thought I missed
Yeah. Yeah.
when I was married.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I think everything ended when I got caught again, final arrest, and then I really went to prison, and then that's where everything started to crumble. And I think the reality of it really set in when my sentencing was read out. I didn't know how serious it was. I thought like I can get over, because I had money, I had power, I know people. I
Connections.
thought
Yeah.
nothing would happen to me. I thought I was invincible. But unfortunately, after they read the sentence and they told me I couldn't bail, that was where I realized, oh shit, like I'm really going to prison for 6 years. They sentenced me for 6 years. And then at the point of reading of the sentence, my whole head and my ears were like deafening. Like when you drop a
You
bomb, what is it called? Like
super hot headed, like you were probably so struck and your body was just having this kind of reaction, this nervous,
shell shock.
yeah, essential
I felt
nervous
shell shock.
systems. Yeah.
And yeah, everything started slowing down. And yeah, I just, on the day they locked me up, I was stressed to go home. And then they locked me up. I went to prison and they kept telling me I can bail, and I couldn't bail all the way to about 3 years.
I've watched a lot of movies of people in prison, right? And obviously listen to a lot of songs and like pop culture references of people going to prison. And in prison it can get really tough, is what everyone understands. It's so tough, and especially for multiple years, man. Like, how do people stay composed? How do you keep yourself together? How do you keep yourself motivated when it feels like those years could be spending an eternity in prison, right? How did you keep yourself together?
Well, so that's a very good question because that's literally what I'm actually teaching right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very hot tempered person and I get triggered really easily in the past.
Okay.
Um, and when I went to prison, like I used to fight a lot. And when I went to prison, I was like, oh shit. Like I stopped because of my wife. And then I came back into prison. It's like Fight Club. In my mind, it's like, oh shit, this shit is now real. And when I went in, it's like, you imagine being in a place, 800 to 1,000 people, all day shouting, fighting, quarreling every day in Thai. And they're all drug addicts because it's the worst prison in Bangkok. Drug addicts and crazy people. So all day people are shouting and you really can go crazy. And the only way to stay sane, I was praying every single day and meditating every single day.
Were you religious before you went to prison?
I wasn't. I thought I was God,
Yeah.
back then because I thought I was invincible. I had money, I had power. Only when I went to prison, then I realized how vulnerable our lives are and how entitled I thought I was. Because I'm Singaporean, there's human rights in Singapore. But in prison, the first day when I went to prison, the cell beside me, someone died. They left the body there till the next day to bring the body down. They didn't even care that the guy was dying the night before. That was where I realized that, oh shit, like my life is actually at risk. If I was dying, they wouldn't even save me. Then I started realizing how vulnerable we are, and I started praying like, okay, I really need help. I started praying every day, make me strong, make me peaceful. I don't want to keep fighting. Of course, I went in, there were a few fights initially, but I kept praying for peace. And then when a few weeks later or a few months, when finally I found peace, everything changed. Like people started treating me differently. I started feeling happy in prison. Like I started feeling, hey, I heard a voice in prison telling me like, didn't you want to change? I couldn't, when I was outside. And I was asking like, I really want to change. I'm sick of this gang life. I'm sick of this nightlife. I had everything I want, but I'm not happy. I want to change. And then I heard a voice like saying, didn't you want to change? Like, change. And then I became so happy that I have to finally have the chance to work on my mind, work on myself. And I started, asking my parents to buy books for me. I started reading The Secret, all the different business books, the self-help books. And yeah, I started getting on a journey to try to become better, with a vision board, working out. I think my peak physique was in prison. I had a very fit 6-pack or 8-packs. And I was very happy with myself. And that was where I found my purpose, because I had a huge group of people following me in prison, not because I was fierce or everything, but because people respect me because of the way I talk, for the way I think, because I was sharing life about my life, what happened, and when they see me change, they find hope in me. Like they see, oh wow, like in Singapore, you used to fight like mafia and everything. Like you look okay now, like how do you do this and that? And they ask me for advice, and after that, they really take care of me in prison because I take care of them mentally and spiritually. So that was where I finally realized that I think this is the purpose God put me in prison, to allow me to go through hardship, to allow me to get what I want, thinking I want power and fame and respect, crumbling me down to rock bottom, and then finally saving me, showing me that, without Him, like I really need Him, and this is Him helping me out. And finally being able to impact people on a very deep level. Because people in prison are very difficult to persuade, very difficult to speak to, very difficult to reach. They are the darkest people in their life. Their minds are all blocked. The only way to reach out to them is people like me who have been in their shoes, that are able to impact them and show them, look, I've been in the exact same shoes, and now I am where I am because I believed in God and I worked on myself. So you can do it too. So I mean, I think that was the biggest mindset shift that I needed, and what helped me, not only just survive prison, but I think I excelled in prison.
Um, Fucking amazing. Because I think one of the things that I've been thinking about is that, especially when I was preparing for this podcast, is that you effectively went from a cell in Bangkok to then a founder of a multi-million-dollar fintech company, which is providing banking for 200,000 plus people, processing, going to process billions of dollars in volume. Does that ever does that thought ever sit right in your mind? Because that's a huge shift, man. When you look back on your few years, like you could never predict that.
I mean, to be honest, initially I was, but when I started to think, because all these were actually in my vision board, and it's really crazy how everything just fell into place. Like opening a fintech company, having a business in Dubai, having business partners in Europe. All these were on my vision board. And back then, I didn't know anything about Dubai. I've never been to Dubai. I've never been to Europe. I know nuts about fintech because I just heard fintech is good money, finance, banking, good money. So I thought, okay, when I go out, let's try fintech and banking. And I want to have my own building. I want to have my own bank, like all this crazy stuff I write in my vision board. And I didn't know how, I didn't know who. And the crazy thing is, when I came out of prison, I had my vision board and I had goals. But my dreams were crushed when I came out and I realized that my social media were gone. Because 5 years without accessing your email, you cannot access it anymore. And my phone and my laptop were confiscated by the police when they arrested me. So literally zero. Start from zero.
You're like restarting in the game of life.
Like literally zero. Like
Yeah.
like even my primary school or high school friends, or friends that I know from nightlife, because I used to know so many people.
Yeah.
Everyone disappeared from my life.
Yeah.
So to me, everything that I have right now, I'm incredibly blessed and grateful. But because of my strong faith in God and my strong faith in the manifestation that I do, I already knew this would happen. It's just a matter of time.
How the hell do you re-enter the game of life after losing everything and having to start again from zero? Because that to me is such a fucking big challenge. It's borderline for me in my thoughts impossible.
I
What
mean,
was your game
personally,
plan? Yeah.
personally, it's all about mindset. Like for me, I think the initial part when I just came out of prison, because I already told myself, because my soul was fulfilled in prison. I was happy that I finally have the mindset I need to excel in life. But I was dying because I didn't have freedom. I was stuck in a cell, and I'm a kind of person I cannot be stagnant for too long. And I promised myself that when I'm out of prison, I can be stuck here for 3 years. If I'm out of prison, I can force myself to get stuck too, and to work extremely hard to succeed much faster than people. And that was the mindset I had. And so how I managed to restart my life is, just telling myself, if I wasn't here, because it's borrowed time for me. If I'm not outside, if I wasn't blessed to be free, I would be in prison. So why do I need to enjoy now? Just work hard so I can enjoy later. So that was where I have my grit, I have my perseverance, everything because of the hardship that I went through that actually helped me go from zero to where I am now at super speed.
It was like when you left prison, your first instinct was redemption, like reinvention of yourself and survival, right? And people, they try to forget the past, but it seems like you build on your past. You chose to make your story public. It's one of the key things that make you unique. People would often get scared of sharing these things that are perceived as bad, as negative, as things as you should keep hidden behind the scenes. But you've done it the other way. Why?
Well, this is a very interesting story also. Because initially, when I just started my company in 2022, I was hiding it. But people use it to threaten me because they search, some of them, they do due diligence and they find it and they try to, blackmail me.
They say that you've been to prison, you did drugs, you did this,
Exactly.
and I'm going to use that information against you in your
Yeah. They're
business.
like, oh, don't trust this guy. This guy has been to prison. And I was like trying to validate myself, like, oh no, but this, but that, trying to hide it or try to work extremely hard so that people can ignore it. But I realized the biggest strength happened when I met my first few investors who really invested in me because of me. I met this guy called Yuan in Hong Kong, introduced by a friend. I don't know if you know him. Basically, I met him. He told me his story, and he asked me. And when he ended his speech, he told me, "I like men with stories." He told me, "我喜欢有故事的男人." I said, "Okay." Then he asked me, "Do you have a story?" I said, "Of course I have." He said, "Tell me." And I asked him, "Do you want to hear the filtered or unfiltered one?" He said, "Of course unfiltered." I said, "Okay." So I told him everything, and I was trying to raise money, and I was about to give up. When I finished, he asked me, "Are you raising money?" I said, "Yeah, actually I am. That's why I'm in Hong Kong." He said, "Oh, how much are you raising?" And I told him the amount. He said, "Okay, how has it been so far?" I said, "No, it's been bad." He said, "Okay, uh, I'll add my team in tomorrow. I'll write you a check. You don't need to raise anymore. I'll invest the balance for you." And I was like, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah." So you don't need to, try to persuade those fucked up VCs. He hate VCs and investors because they look down on him too. And so that changed my whole perspective. And I asked him, "You haven't even asked me about my deck or what I do." He said, "I don't care because I invest in you as a founder, not your project. You can send to me later because I feel by investing in you, even if your project fail, you're trying to find a way to make it work." And then that clicked. And since then, I have been actually being very authentic. Before I was trying to hide my tattoos. I was trying to, when people ask me, "What were you doing before BipTap?" Like I try to hide 5 years of my life, of my peak. It's so difficult to hide, like it's a long time. And I've been trying to hide for a long time, and my life became so boring to people. But ever since I started just not caring, and they asked me, oh, what were I doing before this? And before that, I was like, oh, I was in prison for about 3 years. Oh, shit. Then that sparked more things. And because of this, it just kept, compounding and exploding. Like even Zhu Su from Three Arrow Capital invested because he asked me like, oh, I heard you went to prison. I went to prison too. I said, oh, so what do you need? And I'm like, I actually looking for investors.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a lot of investors. Can I invest? I said, yeah, of course. And people were coming to me. Like they want, the comeback story is real. When people see people change and the founders have grit and he's authentic and he really doing it for good intention and purpose, you know, I know you hear this all the time, authenticity is the highest vibration, highest frequency. And it's real because once you're authentic, people feel it and they want to help you. Not because they pity me, but because they want to bet on a dark horse. Everyone likes to see a dark horse win. And everyone loves our origins, a comeback story, a hero's journey. So that's, I believe it's the strongest point that I have right now. And you know what? The funny thing is, it's actually the biggest blessing in my life because if not for that story, I wouldn't meet my biggest investor in Romania because I'll just be a founder, a tech founder. But because of this guy with a phoenix tattoo on his chest who has been to prison, everybody's like, who is this guy? Like, I want to meet him. Like, bring him to me. You know?
Like I said before as well, that kind of a statement there, from a cell in Bangkok to founder of a multi-million-dollar fintech company. I then want to extend that again and ask you, who have been the biggest people that you've met in the industry? Because you're going from zero to this, and now I'm seeing you meet presidents of countries on your Instagram and signing partnership agreements and LOIs with the biggest companies in the world. So tell me about what's been happening over the recent past couple weeks.
Wow, the
Couple months.
last 6 to 8 months has been insane.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable. Like I always thought I wanted to, because validation has always been. I'm healed now, so I don't do it for validation, but I do it to build my empire. Because I want my success to impact millions of people, showing that even I can do it with zero connections since 2019 till now. I do a brand new industry. I know nuts about banking, but I did it. And my first tech startup, I bring it to a billion, to a unicorn. If I can do it, anyone can do it too. Why? Because I'm hardworking, I'm authentic, and I have faith. So just with this alone, I've met, just recently, like you mentioned, I just signed a partnership agreement providing my banking solutions to the whole Central Africa Republic. I signed the president, we flew the president down, we did a speech, and we signed officially just a few days ago, 3 days ago. Um, we've signed deals with MTS Banking, MTS Technologies from Russia, one of the biggest banks in Russia. OnlyFans, we signed with them too, I think 6 to 7 months ago. And also, we just announced on social media together with Kaya Chain. So basically, Kaya Chain is the layer one integrating
The biggest,
the biggest
yeah,
chat app,
like chatting, social
messaging
media. Yeah.
messaging app in whole of Southeast Asia, the biggest. They
Yeah.
have Kakao Talk, they have Line
Yeah.
app, amassing about 250 million users all over Asia. So those are the few partnerships that we have that I think, and of course, Al Fadan Group from Dubai, from UAE, they are also extremely influential and a lot. Like it has been exploding. And the most crazy thing, even just before this podcast, I was just having a meal with some guys who are working with some, I don't want to mention now because it's still sensitive, from royal family. He's working with the royal family. And they said that he was told to reach out to me because of my story. They Google and like, I want to work with this guy, meet him and see what he does. So it's crazy how things explode when you just be authentic, and people that are meant to meet you will finally have a chance to meet you because you're authentic and you're real.
All right. So you went from prison cells to now operating a fintech company that's going from 8 to 9 figures in revenue and beyond. Now, there's a lot of founders out there that hit the 7 figure revenue ceiling, right? For me, for myself, I am like in that 7-figure range trying to break through the 8 figures. My question to you is, how do people break through? What are the things that are holding them back? Say you're talking to me. It's okay.
Oh,
You
wow.
can be critical. You can be critical.
Okay. I mean, this is exactly what I'm actually teaching on social
Yes.
media, giving advice to fellow entrepreneurs and founders. Because I think the biggest thing that I had 1.5 years ago was limiting beliefs. We think that we are not good enough to meet the president. And if we already feel that way, we will never be able to meet the president. Even if the president wants to meet you, you think like, no, I think someone else should go. And we miss the opportunity completely. That happened to me many times, like being invited on in interviews, being invited on stage many times before. But I thought like, I'm not ready. I can't speak on stage. I'm not ready. Like I don't think I'm big enough. I'm not successful enough to teach. Like I think I'm not ready. And that alone is opportunities coming to you. So I believe a lot of founders are stuck with limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is another thing that I was facing and I just healed like 4 months ago. So this huge shift in success in my personal branding and our big partnerships is just within these 4 to 5 weeks, 4 to 5 months. And all I did was realize that, okay, I think I have imposter syndrome. I searched about it. I got mentors and coaches to teach me about it. And I realized that, okay, so this was what's blocking me from 2 things. 1, huge opportunities. 2, money flow. Because if you have imposter syndrome, you feel that you're not good enough to receive those opportunities and money, you will never come. So really, I think the biggest thing that really, as a friend and as a fellow founder, it's really about finding what causes this imposter syndrome to the root of the problem and actually healing from it.
Yeah.
You heal it spiritually and you learn from it via, all we need to do is just, because we all have answers in our heart. Like even vision board. If we sit down and we write down our goals, we literally already know what we need to do. But somewhere around we forget. Like for example, let's say you want to have body goals. You want a body like, I don't know, Chris Evans or Thor, right? You have that goal, and probably somewhere along the way you forgot. So that's the biggest thing that stops founders from reaching their goals. Because first, they don't even have that goal. Second, they think that it's not possible. And third, they don't have consistency.
100%. I feel like I've just been connected with accurately there, because I do think the limiting potential is a big problem. And I know there are a lot of other founder buddies that I have do feel this way as well. Speaking opportunity, no, that's not for me. I don't think I'm on that level yet to speak with the guests that are there with me in there. Or meeting partners and clients. Maybe this person can go because I know that I'm not ready for that yet, or I don't feel good enough yet to sit at that table, right? But then you'll just never make it in the end.
Exactly.
100%.
And really, consistency is very important and underrated. Why? Because, for example, let's say you can find 1,000 reasons not to do something. Like, for example, I'm starting to post my daily life of a CEO on social media. Why? Because a lot of people, you're lucky, or you're enjoying life. I mean, bro, I post my day schedule and people are shocked.
That was going to be my next question, actually.
Yeah.
Which is, people excuse themselves all the time. Oh, I can't do social media. It's not for me. It doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to be that person, whatever. And then here you have a fintech CEO going on from 8 to 9 figures. You are building your personal brand on Instagram and TikTok and so on. Why? What's the rationale behind that?
Okay, there's a few reasons why.
Yeah.
First of all, it's the most basic, one of the biggest reason why I'm doing it is because, one, I realize founder-led marketing is now trending. Everybody cares not about the company, they care about the founder and how he built the company. So that's one. Second is because I've heard too many people with bullshit excuses saying that, I don't have time. So that's why I personally want to prove to people, with an 8-figure company I need to run, with 140 staff I need to manage, ex- expanding faster than any other tech company right now, anywhere around the world, I still can find time to go to the gym, to work out every single day, and have the best physique I have in my life right now, even though I'm so busy. And I still can start my whole content creation journey with zero experience. And not just zero experience. Before this, I never liked posting on social media. Before one and a half year before, I had zero social media presence. Right, I hated taking photos. I had stage fright, so I didn't speak on stage before. And the thing that I was really difficult to overcome was speaking on phone. I never posted. If you guys look at my social media, I never posted a single video of me speaking on phone before, because I find myself cringe and I was shy. I didn't want to speak to my phone. Like, speaking like this is okay.
And you just don't know. You just don't know what's gonna work, what doesn't. You're just
Exactly.
too
I was
scared to
afraid,
start.
like, what if I say
100%.
something wrong? What if my
What will
audience don't
people
like it? What will people think?
Is it useless?
Is it useless? Will people
Yeah.
find me? It's stupid information.
Yeah.
But I still did it. And guess what? I believe I post more
Because you
than
got more
99% of people in the world.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm posting every day, more than 3 to 4 posts a day.
Yeah.
Stories, clipped videos. I put in effort. And it's not a lot of effort. It's because I'm committed and I want to prove that, and one of my goals is hitting 1 million followers. I don't know by when, but that is one of my goals. So all these small little daily actions that I'm doing brings me closer to that. And if I can do it with such a busy schedule, why isn't everyone else not doing it? Why is anyone else who wants to do it not do it,
Yeah. If you, as the founder of a 8-9 figure fintech company today, could speak to your younger self that was in jail in the prison cell in Bangkok, what would you say to that person?
Oh, wow. I think I've never thought about it, but I'll just tell him, just continue doing what you do. You do okay.
Manifesting,
Yeah.
vision.
Because I honestly have zero regret for everything that happened. And I really, really am very, very deeply thankful for having an opportunity to go to prison. Because I really feel that that was what I really needed to break through everything that I need, to learn everything I need, and to have everything that I need right now to succeed. Because you know what they say. If you give a poor man millions of dollars, it's a curse. He doesn't know how to manage. His life will just fuck up. He will die from drug overdose or get murdered or get robbed. So to me, I think that's the biggest blessing I ever have in my life. And I'll just tell myself, just continue doing what you're doing. You'll do okay.
Love that. I think there's a lot of, especially in Australia, there's this trend of like ex-prisoners that come out and go through journeys, reforming, and then entrepreneurship as well. What are 3 actionable things that you would tell these people everywhere around the world coming out of prison, trying to restart and change themselves in life to then become a successful business person as well? Because that's one of the biggest goals, common goals across a lot of men and women in the world, is to hit business goals to support family, themselves, loved ones, and build something of legacy, right?
Well, that is actually one of the main reasons why I'm doing what I do.
Yeah.
I'm posting on social media, sharing about insights and information on how to become better. I think the main things that I want to tell anyone who is reading or listening to this podcast, one is you have to first find your why. The purpose is extremely important. Don't chase money, chase your why. Whether it's your family, whether it's your loved one, whether it's your dog, I don't know. You have to first find your why. Because once you have your why in your mind or manifested, everything will fall into place. Your what, your how, your when. The universe, whatever God you're praying to, will make it happen. Your why have to be strong. It will let you get through any kind of adversities and obstacles in your life.
I agree with that completely. I think for me personally, my why is to help out, support my family completely. Currently renting, never owned like property assets or whatever, and they're getting old. So my number one goal is to support them completely. and then
Retire
move on.
them.
Yeah, retire them, exactly. Which is finally happening, mashallah, hopefully.
Oh, happy for you, man. Congrats.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And then it's just like continuing on that journey. And it's interesting because a lot of people, Abdel here, who's behind the cameras here, man, he head of projects at Surgence. He is from Egypt, and he single-handedly is supporting his entire family and even extended family, just from hustling completely. His mother, his brother, uncles, aunts, and that's the power of one, understanding your why,
Exactly.
and staying committed to your why all the way through and leveraging that. And for you, that's clearly played out all the way to where you are now with BipTap. So, kudos to you, man.
Thank you so much.
Very
Man.
inspired by your journey. I think because we've got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think there is a huge crisis in society right now, especially with men, I guess, that limit them as well, which is addictions. I guess men can have addictions to drug, sex, girls, addiction to
Gambling.
social media, gambling as well. Huge crisis happening in gambling right now as well. And
Trading meme coins.
trading meme coins, exactly. And these addictions can have huge damaging,
Destroy lives.
destroy completely potential.
Yeah.
People could have such potential. They could have been making something successful, and then the addiction gets them because
Yep.
they didn't conquer that, they didn't overcome that, they didn't come to terms with themselves on that.
Yep.
What advice do you have for these men around the world on
Wow,
addiction?
another very good question, because this is something that I personally want to share with the audience.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that to become better version of themselves, they need to learn a lot of stuff. Actually, it's no. The easiest way to actually become the best version of yourself is to cut off all the old things that are not serving you. Addictions is one of them. Like, I used to be in all vice, gambling, girls, drugs, alcohol, fighting, gambling, everything. And right now, I'm very proud to say I don't even smoke. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go party at all. I don't watch porn anymore. I don't even fuck around anymore. Like, I'm single 1.5 years for 1.5 years. Why? I'll never trade my peace for anything else, because I'm already at a very good place. Instead of a down spiral, my life is now going on an up spiral. So why do I let anyone that does not serve me for my big, huge purpose, my goal, join my life? Because that person might fuck me up.
Yes. Jonathan, man, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I hope that we see each other soon again. I know every time one of us crosses into Dubai, we'll always be connecting with each other again. I'll probably see you in maybe Singapore later in the year for Token 2049 again. And man, I hope to see you continue to kill it, scaling BipTap and into a unicorn. I wanna be proud to say that I watched this journey from you're an amazing entrepreneur, amazing leader, and with the journey, the story, and the qualities that you have, I think so many founders out there, male and female, whatever it is, could learn a lot from you and be inspired by you. And I know me and my team personally, always inspired by your journey. Myself, Vin, Abdel, etc. So thank you, brother, for coming onto the podcast.